Good Tuesday afternoon. A quick check on how the foliage is doing across the mid-Atlantic. We're starting to see that moderate color creeping towards the I-95 corridor, especially in the higher elevations out by Charlottesville, I-81, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Parkway, Skyline Drive, all looking fantastic this time of the year. We're at high or even peak color as of the latest advisory coming out at October 16th, just yesterday from the FoliageNetwork.com. Pretty cool stuff there. Let's talk about the different conditions or different variables that it takes to get some decent color. And unfortunately for this season, this go-around, it's looking like things aren't really going to come into line to give us really brilliant color. We had a lot of things that happened, including a very dry September, very warm first half of October. That's kind of throwing the whole thing off. You got to factor in all these things. Rainfall, temperature, and sunlight, all factors that come into play here when you're looking at really brilliant fall foliage color. So, all right, first let's talk about rainfall. More summer rain causes later, brighter color. Drought causes earlier color and leaf drop. I wouldn't say we were in a drought here in the mid-Atlantic, but we were certainly dry in September, and that led to a lot of the leaves drying up and kind of falling brown. So not very nice color there. So that's certainly a factor for us here. Now, warmer autumns delay and shorten the foliage season, increased variability of peak timing and color. That certainly was the case here. The first half of October was nearly 8 degrees above average. So a warmer autumn certainly is either delaying it or just shortening the foliage season altogether. And then, of course, we have the amount of sunlight. Sunny days produce lots of sugar in the leaves, and that leaves plentiful sugar, and light produces reds, purples, and crimson pigments. That really wasn't so much of an issue for us. We had plenty of sunlight here and there, just not so wet during September, which kind of is throwing the whole thing off. Typically, we see our peak foliage right in line here, October 15th through 25th in the western parts of the state, say I-95 and points west of there, coming up right on that now, right through the 25th. And then as we get closer to the waters, obviously it stays warmer here longer, and this is creating that peak later in October, October 20th through the 31st, and even probably pretty later than that, right along the coast, first or second week of October, or excuse me, of November. Something that's going to help the color kind of come into a little bit more concentration here is going to be the possibility of some frost tonight. We just saw the push of some of the coolest air so far this autumn, and off to the west, farther inland, again, away from the warmer waters of the Bay and the Atlantic, which are still in the 70s this time of the year. That equation for some patchy frost certainly there. We need an air temperature above freezing, 33 to 36 at ground level, calm winds, and clear skies. That combination there creates something called radiational cooling, and that allows all of the heating from the day to kind of radiate back out into space. If we were to have clouds, that acts as a blanket and kind of insulates the region. So certainly some frost possible here, especially along the I-95 corridor. And let's talk about the average dates of seeing that first frost, because this would be, for those areas that see it, the first time they'll see it this year. Now, typically in the western parts of the state around October 10th, so just past that, and they've already seen that last night. They saw some areas of frost. October 25th here in our western zones, and right along the water, of course, a little bit later, coming up right at the beginning of November there. So that's something to take note of there as we watch the fall foliage kind of come into being and kind of expanding in its color throughout the next couple of weeks here across the mid-Atlantic. I'll watch it closely for you, but that's the latest update there. I hope you have a great Tuesday afternoon.